The all-new 2025 4Runner is here, and as you can see, it still has a power tailgate window. This and many more updates mean that the new model is here to shock the entire car industry. That being said, there is one area that could make or break it. Keep watching till the end of this video to find out why. Under the bonnet. A lot has changed under the bonnet of the new 4Runner, which could be both a blessing and a curse. Entry-level trims come standard with Toyota's new iForce powertrain. This system offers a 2.4-liter turbocharged four-cylinder that pumps out 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. The transmission is now an 8-speed automatic, which is a substantial upgrade from the ancient 5-speed unit in the previous generation. More expensive trim levels, such as the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter, keep the 2.4-liter turbo, but get a bump in power thanks to the addition of a hybrid system. The combined power output for the two is 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. Behind the engine, we find the same 8-speed transmission. Thankfully, Toyota didn't opt for some weird CVT on this one. Both of the above drivetrain options should significantly improve the drivability of the 4Runner. While the old one was bulletproof, the outdated 4.0-liter V6 paired with the slow 5-speed automatic was underpowered and inefficient. The new model will be far better at towing and long-distance highway cruising. Speaking of which, towing capacity for the new 4Runner has been increased to 6,000 pounds. Keep in mind that this number may vary depending on trim level. Gas mileage will also be better, and although official numbers haven't been released yet, we would expect it to get roughly 23 miles per gallon. All the above seem great, but there is one possible downside with the new drivetrains that could end up being a deal breaker. We'll cover that later. Off-road abilities. 4Runner has become synonymous with off-road, and thankfully, Toyota ensured that the new model stays true to its roots, thanks to a plethora of off-road features. Top spectrum levels get suspension upgrades, a locking rear differential, multi-terrain select, crawl control, and even a front sway bar disconnect system. In case you aren't aware, disconnecting the sway bar enables the suspension of the vehicle to articulate better, therefore keeping all wheels in contact with the ground for longer. This leads to improved off-road stability and increased grip. The 5th generation 4Runner TRD Pro used to play the role of both the overland vehicle, but also the high-speed Baja Basher. However, this is no longer the case, as the company now has two separate models for each type of owner. Just like on the Tacoma, the 4Runner's top trim levels will be the Trail Hunter and the TRD Pro. The Trail Hunter will be the factory overland-ready vehicle, featuring Old Man Emu suspension, upgraded upper control arms, beefier skid plates, an onboard air compressor, roof rack, and even a plug to run accessories, such as a fridge. This can be easily done thanks to the onboard hybrid system. Worth noting is that on the Toyota website, you can spec your Trail Hunter with as much overland gear as you want. You can get a fully built adventure vehicle that will keep its factory warranty and will be able to be financed as a whole. The TRD Pro, on the other hand, offers high-speed off-road oriented accessories, which is the reason it features Fox shocks. The difference between the two suspension systems is mostly in the valving. The TRD Pro shocks are tuned to tackle high-speed impacts, while the Old Man Emu shocks are more long-distance off-road travel oriented. Worth noting is that other accessories such as skid plates, rear locker, and sway bar disconnect are also included. Finally, since the Tacoma TRD Pro can be purchased with the Overland kit from the factory, we see no reason why Toyota wouldn't offer the same option on the 4Runner TRD Pro as well. Toyota now has triplets. One of the most important questions we need to address is where the 4Runner fits in Toyota's lineup. As of now, Toyota has 3 vehicles that are based on the same platform. The Tacoma, Land Cruiser, and 4Runner all share the same chassis with a few minor differences. The platform used has been dubbed TNGA-F and is essentially a body-on-frame design with a double wishbone front end and a 5-link solid rear axle. This combination has been underpinning Toyota's off-roaders for decades and is tried and tested. The TNGA-F platform was developed to reduce production costs between Toyota's off-roaders. Having to build the same chassis for different vehicles is far quicker and more cost-effective than separate units. Now, The way the three vehicles are differentiated is rather complicated, especially when one compares the Land Cruiser to the 4Runner. Think about it like this. The 4Runner will have a cheaper starting price and will be aimed towards a more youthful audience that values outdoor sports, adventures, and more challenging off-road terrain, either in the form of pure off-roading, overlanding, or Baja. This is also reflected in its bolder and more in-your-face design, which is incredibly similar to that of the Tacoma. On the other hand, the Land Cruiser is a more grown-up version of the 4Runner. It will have a higher starting price and is aimed towards a family man or woman who needs something more subtle and sophisticated. While still incredibly capable, the Land Cruiser pays less attention to all-out off-road performance, thanks to a more road-oriented suspension setup. Worth noting is the fact that all Land Cruiser trim levels come with full-time four-wheel drive, 4WD, while the 4Runner offers selectable four-wheel drive on all trim levels, except the Limited. Of course, we also have the Tacoma in Toyota's off-road triplet lineup, which is easily differentiated. If you need the abilities and comfort of a 4Runner, but with the storage space of a pickup, then you go for the Tacoma. Historically, the 4Runner was essentially a Toyota pickup with a normal passenger cabin bolted on top of it, and this is what the new models represent. Interior upgrades. Inside, Toyota took the 4Runner to a whole new level. The design of the interior is rugged yet modern and is incredibly similar to that of the Tacoma and even the larger Tundra. Trim levels, such as the TRD Pro and Trailhunter, get Toyota's 14-inch infotainment system, which features wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. A 360-degree camera system is also available and will make off-roading far easier than it used to be. Near the gear selector, you will find the 4Runner's off-road controls. Worth noting is that switching on the 4WD system is now done via rotary switch and is no longer controlled by an old-school knob. In case you want to add additional accessories, the 4Runner offers blank auxiliary buttons that can be connected to aftermarket modifications, such as lights, compressors, or even diff lockers. Despite the 4Runner's off-road character, Toyota has added luxuries not often found in proper off-roaders. Top trim levels offer features such as heated and cooled seats, seat memory function, premium materials, and a power tailgate. Speaking of the tailgate, the 4Runner keeps the sliding rear window, which was a staple of the model for decades. Also worth noting is the fact that hybrid models offer less trunk space, as the batteries raise the floor. This is also the reason why the hybrids can't be had as 7-seaters. Will the new model be as reliable as the old one? The new 4Runner seems to be better than the old one in pretty much every single way. But there is one area that might be the new model's Achilles heel, and that is reliability. There is no denying the fact that one of the 4Runner's biggest selling points was its reliability. Every model from the third generation onwards was known to last for much longer than any other vehicle on the road. The reason behind the 4Runner's dependability was good build quality, but also simplicity. In the 5th generation, the 4.0-liter V6 and 5-speed transmission might have been ancient, but Toyota had decades to perfect them to ensure that they worked flawlessly for years to come. This, however, is no longer the case, as the new model uses a new engine. The smaller turbocharged unit is more complicated and stressed than any of the older engines. Add the hybrid system to the equation, and you get an engine bay that seems a bit too cramped. The good news is that if there is one company that has experience with hybrids, it is Toyota. Therefore, we have high hopes that the new 4Runner will be Toyota reliable despite its more complex underpinnings. Oh, and let's not forget that, unlike the Tacoma, the 4Runner is built in Japan, which is always a good sign when it comes to reliability and attention to detail. Expected pricing. The current generation of 4Runner starts at $40,705. As we are sure you are aware, cars have been getting more expensive over the past few years. And with the updates the new model will have, the pricing will also almost certainly go up. Toyota hasn't released official numbers yet, but we would expect the 6th generation of 4Runner to start at roughly $43,000. Top spec models like the Trailhunter and TRD Pro will be closer to $60,000. Stay tuned for more news regarding the all-new Toyota 4Runner and other similar trucks in the future.